That's the only thing I do want to do quickly. ESL logo. Just because we don't need the ESL logo during these games. Obviously, we'll put that back on later when we are casting the ESL. All right, so let's do this. This is the sort of series we live for. As in the top right, we have a blue Terran player, INnoVation, entering a best of 9 against the red Zerg. In the bottom left, it is Dark. It's just a little bit of a pre-warner. This one is casted on live on stream between tournaments, but it is going to be designed for YouTube. So hello YouTube, and don't forget, if you like the video, you can like the video and you can subscribe to the channel as we approach 22,000 YouTube subscribers, which is freaking awesome. Thank you so much for all the love there. Onward and upward to 30k. This is obviously going to open up with the proxy racks, as SCVs are both coming across the map, so INnoVation will get aggressive at the start. So this is a best of 9 series from the Into the Alpha X Super Series. So best of 9, a show match, and yeah, let's enjoy. The only other thing I do want to say is this is the old patch, so this replay is at the time of casting like 8 days old. The new patch has been out for about a week. So as far as I'm aware, in fact, the new patch has been out for less than a week. So I think these replays are actually a week old, and the new patch is like 5 days old, 5 or 6 days old. So this is old patch, but it is going to be old patch with new maps. So this was basically played before the new season, but they decided to play on the new maps for some extra interest. So it's new maps, but old patch, just something to know going into this series. Of course, that may not make much of an effect or much of an impact on this initial proxy racks marine play. So first couple of racks already coming up. They're going to be done in a few moments time, and INnoVation's SCV will be making its way down the left hand side into the natural to see that this is a pool first. Hello, what? Uh-oh. So gonna be seeing a pool first opener, and that's obviously not good for INnoVation, because now Ling's already on the way out. A spine crawler already starts, and especially with the 2 racks, there's really going to be limited options in how much you can get done here. So Overlord will get pushed away up to the high ground, and a second Marine showing up from INnoVation is going to come across as well. So second Marine is a couple Lings and a couple of drones to the low ground here, and just going to be seeing the first drone already picked off. It's going to be seeing the Marines are going in after the hatchery, so already seen the hatch getting picked away at, so that will go down. And again, a few extra Lings just continue to produce. The Ling speed is going to be on the way up as well. And there's our spine crawler trying to move to the low ground here as well. So an attempt to defend from Dark. Again, he has the Lings up so early, but the bunkers did get up. This Queen is having a bit of trouble right now too. The spine crawler will start to burrow, but double bunker to break through. It's going to be a little bit messy in general, and the bunker's in range of the hatchery. This Overlord's not on high ground, so he's going to get supply blocked. Oh my goodness, this all went wrong for Dark very quickly. Now the spine's moving forward, too far forward. These Marines are going to continue to put damage onto that, and I mean, this Queen's already very low. There's no second Queen because it was pool first. This has just become a bit of a disaster from the very start, as we see our Marines trying to pull back toward the bunker here. The Lings trying to get us around on this bunker as well. A lot of drones continue to fall. I mean, he will break the first bunker, but then what about bunker number 2? Well, will he break the first bunker? Yeah, just about, but I don't know if you count this as breaking it, because INnoVation actually has the units to keep on fighting. This spine got transfused, very low HP, will now go down. Hatchery is going to fall, and I think this is just a disaster for Dark. Of a pool first as well, right? Just, you're meant to have so much you can do with this, and INnoVation gets the hatchery killed with the 2 racks, which is always amazing. And honestly, Dark's losing so many more Zerglings here. This is extremely painful. That's going to be GG, and INnoVation is going to pick up a first game of the series. Dark tapping out there, and not much to say really, just INnoVation picking up a fast first win, where Dark definitely didn't set up correctly. GG. Second game, starting us off in the top right-hand side, is the player who did take a 1-0 lead with that proxy 2 racks. It's INnoVation. Going into Everdream in the bottom left. Our red Zerg. This is Dark. So game number 2, a series which is maybe not off to the start we wanted it to be. You know, when I think Dark and I think innovation, I'm like 20 minutes, bio, roaches. You know, a bit of aggression from Dark, but like games that go long, and Dark kind of playing his own style that a lot of people look at and are like, well, you know, that's not the best way to go about things. And Dark's like, I don't care, I'm Dark, I do what I want, I'm a badass. So yeah, that's kind of what I think when I think of innovation and Dark, and like just these epic kind of scrappy games, but obviously not much of that to start here just yet. As we get into this map number 1, map number 2, sorry, of the best of 3 series. Obviously innovation top right, Dark bottom left, and Everdream as a map. Really just, I mean, a few options off of Everdream, as we do have the spawn pool coming up. So it's a gas pool opener. Definitely gives Dark some aggressive options this time around. Obviously gives him a very good setup in case this is a proxy racks again. But really more so sets him up to potentially go into roaches right from the start of the game. That obviously gives you a lot of aggression and pressure across the map. And that's the sort of thing Dark will never shy away from. So yeah, this is really not the sort of thing that is... it's really not the sort of thing which you look at as innovation. You're like, you know, going into the series, you're not like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be able to open 3cc every time. You know, I'm sure he'll mix some 3cc builds in, but, you know, Dark is the kind of player who's going to, you know, find himself punishing that sort of 3cc opener more often than not. Overlord will continue into the natural as the Reaper hops around, moving around the right side. And is just trying to scout for early lings. Obviously, innovation chose not to SCV scout here, so it doesn't get the initial information on if this is a pool first or a hatch first, right? So because of that, he's staying very safe with the Reaper. Now, the Overlord sees the Reaper was here. And of course, that means the Dark is not going to go diving in with the lings right away. If innovation had gone across the map with this Reaper, that's why the lings do get to come straight into the natural and go from there. This is not going to be roaches. It's going to be a ling speed opener from Dark, so straight to ling speed means that he won't get too much pressure. This barracks is coming, and now he's going to show up with these lings to try and actually save the Overlord, and he probably will be able to, unless the barracks actually stays over here. But the barracks can't stay here forever because you're already delaying the potential to build an add-on with it. So yeah, it would be nice to kill the Overlord, but not so nice that it's worthwhile losing your add-on timing and obviously being put behind there. Now ling speed is done too. But you can see an SCV perhaps going to go down, so these few lings actually doing a pretty okay job initially. Innovation just has that one Hellion, so yeah, definitely not ideal from either side, really, right? Like, it's not perfect for Dark. You know, this Reaper was at home, but then he saves the Overlord, he kills off a couple of the Marines, which is better for him. He lost a few of the lings. I mean, a bit of back and forth, a bit of a trade out. Nothing which I feel puts one player further ahead than the other by a significant margin. Now, as the Italians get to reactor out, we'll see just how aggressive Inno gets. Inno does start a 3cc after the double gas and a starport, so this is a pretty quick 3cc still. This is not like a typical 111 third base, which comes down around 4 minutes, 4:10. This was much earlier. So it's kind of that in-between of going one gas 3cc and going into, you know, a kind of a more regular 3cc off of a double gas 111. And that's probably why he doesn't have the reactor as early, because you can't afford double Hellion production while building a third this quickly off 2 gases. So you just don't have the income to really support that, as we do have the Viking. Is just going to clean out the Overlord, so that will get cleaned out. That's a supply block here from Dark. As we do have our armory on the way, so innovation just going to go for a Hellbat follow-up. So into Marauders, concussive shells. Hellbat Marauder attack. We've obviously seen this one be fairly successful lately. I tell you what, we've seen innovation be very kind of Hellbat heavy lately. He's been using a lot of Hellbat openers, a lot of Hellbats which really show up and continuously manage to get in and do a lot of damage. As you just see the Viking into the main base, going to deal some damage onto the Overlord. Hellions will continue out across the center. Sorry, I forgot the music tabs there. The sound apparently completely cuts if you tab out on old replay patches. Alright, so Hellion's going to set up into Hellbats here and just going to be seeing a couple Marauders to drop 2 Spines built and definitely going to help. I guess a lot of these... Oh, he's just blown the Medevac. Oh, INnoVation. What was that? Well, that's how you lose the game, I think. I mean, that's terrible. This is the sort of thing as well where it's like, it really is designed to really punish someone who's going Spire. And, you know, these 2 Spines in front of the Natural is great and all, but... What if you just have the Marauders and the Hellbats go to the 3rd base? Then you have to fight away from those Spines as well. Yeah, this is meant to kind of punish what Dark is doing to some extent at least. And now you lose your Medevac and Marauders without even looking. And INnoVation, well, INnoVation just does not have a very good start here. So he's going to try and run by with these Hellions, but he's not going to find much at all. And yeah, that's a huge investment that's going to do nothing. And yeah, these Hellions are going to try and reach this mineral line. Lings are going to run in. I mean, so far he's not even found any drones, and he won't find any drones at all. And gets a couple. Man, the Spine Crawlers will help. All the Hellions go down. INnoVation is in a horrible spot. Muta's on the way. He's just lost everything he's built into in the early game. Okay, he's on his way to some production now, but yeah, it's brutal. He's going up to 4th and 5th barracks, so the first problem is going to be actually even just holding off the Lings. You're not going to be able to mine from the 3rd base, so that's going to be an issue from the very early stages. These couple of Marines and SCVs running over as they're going to stim and the Lings get us around. INnoVation's just going to GG. He doesn't have the units, right, from losing the Hellions. He doesn't have the units to realistically defend this, and yeah, he was in a bad spot. He tried to make something out of it. Doesn't work out, and INnoVation will lose a pretty quick game. And the top left-hand side, the blue Terran player is INnoVation, who did not really play like INnoVation in that 3rd map. I mean, when was the last time you saw INnoVation losing a Medevac like that? With the 2 Marauders inside, definitely not pretty. As in the bottom right, our red Zerg player is Dark, and as they have a little bit of chitter-chatter in the early stages. Going into Game 3 here, Submarine, the smallest map in the map pool now. Overlord making its way out across the upper left-hand side. Rax is going to be building up already, so getting that started. And pool first from Dark, so he's going to continue to open pool first here. The thing is, Dark will go pool first a bunch of times, and at some point eventually, he will say, cool, pool first is now going to turn into a... pool first is going to turn into aggression. Like, he's not done that yet. You know, there's been a few Lings across the map, yes, but he's yet to really say, okay, pool first into... Here's, you know, here's some roaches or anything. So I think it's one of the things, right? INnoVation, you can play pool first multiple times in a row, and if he never gets aggressive, you kind of relax your guard, and then Dark's like, cool, now I attack. Now I make the most of it. We've talked about this when Dark has played some previous series, some longer series on our stream. I think some best of 5s and stuff back in WSG qualifiers. I think it was against TY. He went like pool first every game, and then in game 5 he goes pool first and roach rushes, and TY just like, he saw the pool first and he just didn't even consider the idea of a roach rush. I mean, this was a few months ago now, but those are the sort of tendencies within players that kind of last, you know, a few months, right? Those are tendencies that people, you know, if they have one at one point, they keep for a long time. So wouldn't be surprised to see it change up, and I'm talking about it as though we don't already see it changing up. The Roachron is building in the main base. So already getting the Roachron up. That's going to be finished up momentarily. That's going to be our roaches on the way out. And we do see the Reaper coming back home. So the Reaper actually doesn't see anything just yet. All he knows is it's a pool first. Reactor on the racks. Man, he's keeping the Reaper at home, which you kind of need to, of course, but it's a little bit rough, right? Because now you've got these Lings showing up, but yeah. You got these Lings showing up, but they get shut down. But yeah, the Reaper's just not getting the information that you need. So INnoVation is completely in the dark. First roach is built. Now this is a very fast roach rush. So 5 roaches off 16 drones. INnoVation already builds a bunker. Wow. Is he just going to build a tech lab as well? Wow. So INnoVation just says, you know what? I am just going to go for the Marines and the Cyclone, and I'm just going to play blindly as though you are roach rushing me. And then if you're not roach rushing me, I might not have Hellions, but not in a terrible spot. Now he sees the roaches, and INnoVation's going to be laughing to himself a little bit. He's got a bunker up. He's really preparing correctly, right? Especially with the Marine production continuing, it means that you're not going to waste any time building Hellions. So you've got plenty of Marines to fight with. And that's a pretty big part of this as well. Now the Cyclone on the way out to really push back this Roach Ravager force as well. As the Reaper comes out through this top side. Roaches, a Ravager firing up already, and the supply depot already taking a few extra shots of damage. So he's going to be going down in a moment. Depot falls, reactor will continue to take some extra damage here. And this is obviously Dog just trying to get the most out of this at the moment, so just trying to make the most of this at this stage with a couple of Overlords continue to build. Again, the Ravager's trying to get some damage done. The Overlord is locked onto, is going to go down. Wow. Obviously the CC providing vision over there gives you so much time to deal with that as the Cyclone locks on. Ravager takes a few shots. Marines pressing in again. A Cyclone getting a lock on. You know, it kind of makes sense to be aggressive on this map as well, right? It's such a short map that these Roaches and Ravagers show up so quickly, and yet obviously when INnoVation is this well prepared because it just kind of blind counters it anyway. And, you know, when that happens, then it doesn't really matter that that's the case. So it's a little unfortunate for Dark, naturally, as we will see our Roaches backing off here down to the bottom side. You can see a third hatchery of Dark is already building up as well. So again, our third hatchery running. Now, INnoVation already has Banshees up too, and you actually just see the Roaches and the Ravagers moving to the left here. As Ling speed finishes, there's Lings on the way, so it definitely looks like Dark wants to go for a follow-up attack. Moving across the map and basically trying to pick up a quicker win. So that's going to be the plan here now from Dark, right? To essentially go for that little bit of a faster win here, just try and flood, but INnoVation is going to have a wall off. That's already a great start to this. So wall off is step number one. I mean, the Ravagers can maybe break a bit of this down, but you've got the Banshee over here. Banshee's going to turn back home. There's going to be a new Banshee in a moment. Well, wall goes down very quickly, and there's no second wall or anything. How much does INnoVation lose in the process of this attack? Going to be a big telling moment as the Lings continue to come in. The Cyclone is going to go down as well, so the Cyclone will fall. The Lings straight up into this main mineral line, and already SCVs in a good bit of damage. I think they're actually in a lot of trouble, these SCVs. The Banshee will maybe eventually clean up, but how many workers do you lose before then? Probably just a few too many, right? Things continue to run around, SCVs continue to drop down, and it does indeed feel as though we are in a lot of trouble. I mean, as Marines pop, the Lings are surrounding them, and how many SCVs are left? 21 against 33. And obviously now Dark starts to drone up as well. The only chance INnoVation maybe has is like a huge counterattack. With these Banshees, they would need to deal a lot of damage while countering, though. And I really mean, like, a lot of damage while countering. So that's going to be... absolutely is a possibility, right? But it's... yeah, it's just not going to happen. You on, like, one SCV, you still haven't dealt with this. Question marks, and GG says INnoVation. He was not prepared. He didn't have a bunker up or anything. And you just kind of need a bunker for the second wave of this all in. Otherwise, Otherwise, you're just in too much trouble, and that's exactly what happens. GG's, and INnoVation will drop to give Dark a 2-1 advantage going into Game 4 of this best of 9. And game number 4, we'll start to the top left-hand side with the blue Terran player. This is INnoVation. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom right, it is Dark. Man, I'm really hoping we get the China Team Championship, the Gold Series Team Championship stuff resolved, because they're able to cast the Warcraft 3 stuff on Twitch again. So I'm hoping it gets resolved for StarCraft 2 in time for the playoffs, because we're expecting INnoVation and Dark to be heavy hitters from Kaizi and DPG going into those playoffs. And that is just in a couple of weekends from now. So really hoping we have something of a fix or a solution for that, because otherwise I'm going to be a sad wardy if we miss out on that. The only good news is I might be able to do it for YouTube only. I can't live stream to YouTube, but I could like get the replays and cast them as YouTube uploads maybe. is the only like consolation that I have so far. I have talked to Blizzard about it, and again, just hoping that that is going to be resolved. Because again, would love to see, I really think some amazing Dark INnoVation games might happen there, and it would be a shame to miss out. So yeah, hoping we can sort something out for coverage on that. Anyways, as it stands, we go into this game number 4 of this best of 9 show match right here and now. And we do have this Reaper from INnoVation already building in the main base. The SCV is going to expand, and again, Dark just pulling and gassing early in the game, so we'll have access to that fast link speed. Let's see what he does with the gas. Will tell us a lot of what he wants to do. He's going to keep mining past 100. So he really is going to have a lot of gas early in the game. Could maybe go for the lair early. Could maybe go for the... Yeah, I mean, could maybe go for the lair. Could maybe start up link speed or so. SCV is going to be chased as the couple of lings will hunt it down. A couple of lings will go out onto the front. INnoVation's SCV going to continue to the top left then, so we'll continue to run up as Reaper is at the front as well. Obviously, in the end here, this is Dog not really doing much. He got up to 100 extra gas. He has slowed down gas mining at the moment. But of course, that's a lot of, gas income and not mineral income. So it's definitely a little bit of a less economic way to open, right? As this Reaper's actually going to find these lings. They'll zoom through the speedy zone. So the Reaper, then they get ling speed. The Reaper's like, okay. Obviously, ling speed a bit earlier here with the opening. Something to be cautious of because you don't want to be caught too off guard or anything. As you do see, our starport is about to finish from INnoVation in the main base. Overlord from Dark hanging out overhead. And there are 2 Zerglings running up the right-hand side. These 2 Zerglings will run out up the right. Just going to be seeing them continuing around here. The Overlord of Dark hanging out overhead as well. And just seeing the 3rd hatchery is going to be building on the south side 6 o'clock position. So just going to be seeing that setting up as the couple lings will continue to move around. The 2 Hellions from Inno still in the natural expansion. And our Viking from INnoVation is going to be finished up in the main base very soon. There's that Roach Roaring about halfway done in the front. The Reaper of Inno is going to move in. It's going to come around and go in after the drone. A couple lings get there and the Reaper will be picked off. Marauder, concussive shells. All of this continuing to set up as well, as we're just going to see how medevac is also continuing from INnoVation, so continuing to get that up and running. Our Overlords are going to be here in a few moments' time. 7 extra roaches continuing to build as we do see our Hellions of Inno just going to go straight through the center. Couple of creep teamers from Dark are pushing out the right side. A couple of queens getting there. There's our concussive shells. So he's gonna go kind of a... I mean, he's going armory as well. It's kind of a... it's kind of like a delayed Hellbat attack, really, isn't it? Sees the roaches. No, maybe it's just a response to the roaches as Dark all-ins, and I do a very bad job of identifying it. Yeah, Woody. What are we looking at here? Yeah, maybe it's concussive shells for a reason. He actually does swap the starport to attack lab, so he'll start up a Banshee, cancels the Liberator he had on the way. So it actually doesn't feel like he was really doing that in response to seeing this. I think he really was planning to go like Hellbat Marauder. The Banshee and so on will be a response to this. Obviously, in general, having Hellbats and Marauders here will help out. So yeah, they're going to help out a lot because it's going to make it very tough for Dark to really break through here on Death Aura. The only thing I'm worried about for Inno is this 3rd CC is very low already. SCVs have to pull in forward. Corrosive Biles get it low. Some more going to get some of the SCVs. The repair is good enough for the moment. There are Hellbats here in the bunker too, and I don't think you should really break this down. 7 SCVs full, but you're left with just a handful of Ravagers that shouldn't really be able to do all too much else, right? 9 SCVs go down. All of these Lings streaming in to follow up as these Ravagers continue to fall. And yeah, these SCVs and Hellbats trying to fight this, but there's another bunker as well. 15 workers killed, but when you're on 3 CCs as INnoVation, you can recover from this. Absolutely. So you just got a nice corrosive bile down on that mule in the background, but that should be that. Dark will take about a 15 worker lead. INnoVation will A, have Banshees and Cloak to harass with as a follow-up, and B, INnoVation will have, I guess, already the bio upgrade stance. He's going to be ahead there. Obviously, the lair is late from Dark, and that's one of the main things, right? That tech difference. So his own tech is going to be very, very slow. As our Banshee comes across over to the right-hand side, Lings of Dark will join up together in the center. All the Lings to the top. SCV going to repair up the orbital. Just seen still one circling up to the top side. The rest of these Lings from Dark will run back down to the bottom as 1-1 upgrade, stim pack, all of this continuing through the factory. Going to build a siege tank as the reactor is going to be done on the starboard in just a moment or so. And we do have the extra extractors all building up as our Banshees get into the back. Well, they're going to get 3 drones, but not too much else. And he's out of detection range, though. And there's no Overseer yet. So this Banshee, very low HP, still survives. Runs in a step too far, but he gets 2 more drones for it. There's the Overseer. Now this Banshee will go run and should just get away. INnoVation down 20 workers. And I guess that's the big question. Is 20 workers down too much? Dog builds 9 roaches. He's almost afraid of the first attack coming across, and well, I'd say good game sense, because INnoVation almost looks like he wants to move across. But yeah, now 12 roaches, starts up 1-1 missiles. I mean, he is reaching 3 base saturation, so it's that point where it's like, well, if you're not going to build drones, what are you going to build? And it makes more sense to build roaches in this scenario than Ling Bane, so that's where we're at for the moment, basically. Ling's back down the right side. Just going to see this SCV running through. Tank will fire. Picks off the Zergling. 4th hatch will sit on the front. And again, all of this creep. Out around the right side. Out around to the left. Do you see these couple of racks from INnoVation? Going to be finishing very soon as our 2-2 will continue to be on the way. So that's going to be one of the big leads he has. So this is just going to be that big 1-1 roach timing. That sort of point at which you say, right, let's just get in here and let's just try to get in, really dive in, and basically it's very all in, right? Because if you don't do enough with this, you typically don't start 2-2 upgrades, so you fall further behind there. Roach Ravager isn't a good composition in the first place anyway. You can transition into like Ling Bane Ravager, but you're behind on melee upgrades at that point, and that then slows down any transition into Ultras from being as effective. It's going to go and get us around on the rocks. Bit more damage being done. We'll continue for the rocks as 1-1 missile upgrades will continue up on the evolution chamber, so they're going to be finished shortly. Again, 64 drones, so we're very all in here. How many tanks have we got? 5. My god. So the only thing that I think might be really bad for INnoVation is that he just doesn't realize this is happening. Because if he just sits back at home defensively with 5 siege tanks, then, you know, upgrades 2-2 already well on the way, he's fine. He actually sees it coming, so he will get back. He won't be maybe immediately sieged up, but he can relocate these tanks a bit. He's going to be behind an initial wall off. He needs to not have the tanks clumped up, right? You don't want multiple biles to kill off the same tanks, basically. As here we go. Corrosive biles here will land on the first tank, but 2 tanks taken down, but already a lot of roaches and ravagers traded out. So that's very costly as you see the Marines setting up. Vax at the front. Here's the rest of this from Dark into the center. Going to be seeing the extractors already on the way. As Dark says, yep, this is not working at all. So he starts up 2-2. He'll add on drones. He'll drone up and take, you know, the gas on the 4th base. But again, there's already so much committed to this. You know, the 2-2 didn't start right away, so that's delayed from what it already was. You know, there's no anti-air, so drop play from INnoVation is going to be super effective here as well, especially when a lot of the reinforcements against this is going to be Zerglings against 2-2 Marines. Yeah, that's obviously a pretty big issue, as we do see the Medivacs will make their way down the right-hand side. Still got some Marines on the left, going to get a couple Crypt Teamers as well. Lings, Roaches, Ravagers out to the side, and just going to be seeing the Medivacs will continue to pull away. Marines unload, and Overlord already falls, and the Queens chase down as well. A few of these drones getting picked off. A Spore Crawler goes down, and all of these Lings getting picked away at the moment. I mean, this is what I mean, right? +1 Carapace Lings against 2-2. Yeah, they just aren't going to do anywhere near enough, so you trade really well. And this is INnoVation's opportunity now to start getting a lot of damage done. And these Marines will continue, and I mean, they look very good in general, so yep, just going to be trading out as much as possible, and at the same time buys him some time to get this drop on the map. He's actually gotten past the Roach Ravagers, so he's just going to dive in. He's going to find the Overlord farm, and Dark, well, how many Overlords did he make? Because he just lost 4, and it didn't even affect his supply count. So that's really something, as these two Medivacs will go back up to the upper left. Hive is on the way up from Dark in the main base, so that's coming through. The 2-2 missile upgrades continuing out as well. A lot of Lings of Dark to the far right-hand side here. I mean, he's still trying to tech up, right? He's trying to get to that Bane speed. He's at least about to hit 2-2. Of course, the Ling Bane will still be on 0 melee upgrades. And again, typically off these styles, you still want to transition into a... Usually you still transition into an eventual kind of Ultros Cavern. And obviously Ultros Cavern is not really something that's going to be up and running here, as the Bioforce takes down the rocks on the left side. We do have the 2 Medivacs of INnoVation are going to slowly make their way into the main base as well. Spore Crawler already firing up a little bit of a storm and dropping down. A few drones have to back away from this, and INnoVation is going to go in after these rocks. Our Bio Army trading out against all of these Lings. A couple of Banes showing up too. The rest of INnoVation's setup continuing along now, as we're going to be seeing tanks will siege. The Bane Ravager Ling want to move through as well. Tanks very stacked up. Viper's obviously going to be very good against stacks of tanks like that in the near future, so no surprise to see Dark going into that as the high finish. It's probably the best thing you can do. I think investing into Ultras is going to take too long to get there. It looks like he was maybe thinking of going Lurkers as well. It's also not a bad idea off the fact he just has a bunch of missile upgrades, but it's still obviously less than ideal, as he's just not really able to afford getting there, right? He's under so much pressure. How do you take the time to start up a... Well, I mean, first you have to start up a Lurker Den, and then you actually have to... There's just so much to do. Banshee came back in for a few moments there from earlier in the game as well. That's going to be seeing our Queens taking a bunch more damage. Still a Bio in the front, getting rid of a few more Creep Teamers also. INnoVation's push is just never ending, right? Like, how are you ever going to clean up these tanks? That's what I want to know. Especially when Nono's trying to come in from a couple different sides. He's cleaned up a lot of the creeps, so the push down into that 4th base is just going to be endless. Like, there's no good scenario here, basically. There's just no good scenario on this left-hand side. Like, these tanks are just going to be a nightmare every single time. Parasitic Bomb is off on the Medivacs, and he's actually doing a lot of damage with that Parasitic Bomb. Medivacs will just load up the Marines and pull away to the side. A few of the drones going down here and just continuing to fight. Dark does have money, but these trades are so inefficient. We look at the resources lost, and it's 4,000 difference at the moment. And INnoVation's actually up in economy. He's got more workers, and he's ready to take a 5th base soon. So he's really not got problems there. And again, how do you fight these siege tanks? It's probably the biggest question at the moment. It's going to be extremely expensive fighting these siege tanks. And then INnoVation's going to be building up behind it as well anyway, right? Like, that's maybe the biggest problem of them all. That INnoVation ends up just rebuilding, and here we go. Vipers are going to get some good Blinding Clouds off. I mean, that's kind of what you need. Takes over half the tanks out of the fight, but there's no follow-up. He doesn't actually kill any of the tanks. And these Ravagers are kind of sat in the front, and they're just so weak and vulnerable when they are the ones taking the damage. Like, they are not designed to be the ones taking the damage here, and alas, here we are. They are, well, just taking on the full front of it, because there's nothing else, right? You don't have the Lings to tank. There's no Roaches left over. I mean, not that you really want Roaches right now. You just want Ling Bane. He's running out of Ling Bane a lot of the time. Dark is going to end up typing out a GG in this game number 4. INnoVation will be allowed to tie the series up again. Again, a game that comes off the back of a very aggressive opening from Dark, continuing to stay very aggressive, continuing to stay very all in and very committed to these fights. And that's obviously very, very costly at the end of the day, because INnoVation does find his defense early. He finds the defense on the follow-up this time. And from there, INnoVation just controlled the game, I think. You know, good drops, good play. INnoVation ties it 2-2. All right, so in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is INnoVation. As in the bottom right, our red Zerg is Dark. I'm going to take a quick question from the chat, which I don't usually do during these designed for YouTube casts, but why didn't he tech into Broodlords? Would that have been bad here? You just don't have the chance to really tech into Broodlords in this, right? Like, it's just too expensive. You're under too much pressure. Like, yeah, actually, Broodlords would have been great against that many siege tanks, right? But it's just, you can't get there easily. He was trying to tech into Lurkers, and he couldn't even get to Lurkers. So how are you going to get to Aspire and a great Aspire? That is just... I feel like it's not unfair to say it's just unreachable, right? Like, you're just not going to get that much, or that much time. You know, INnoVation didn't even give him time to go into, like, a lower tech. And it's just because of how the early game went. And obviously, you know, Dark, you've got to remember, was playing from behind. You know, his first attack didn't work, his second attack didn't work, and both of those are very committed attacks. Really designed to deal a lot of damage. INnoVation brings it back to the 2-Rax. The 2-Rax in the first game of this series got shut down hard against the pool first, and can you believe Dark, for the first time in the series, goes for a hatchery first? Hatch, gas, and pool up against a 2-Rax. Now, at least he will find this Rax right now. It's a pretty late scout, so not much you can do in terms of drones. Drones will not deny the building of the Rax. At most, you can fight the SCV early, and you can fight the Marine. But yeah, 5 drones pulling already against this, and INnoVation's just going to play a very defensive 2-Rax here, because that's a lot of workers pulled off the line. That's a quarter of Dark's economy. Just not even mining. And oh my god, the Marine gets behind. That's actually a sick position. Oh yeah, Marine's just going to stay very safe. And obviously this is great, because now you've got 5 drones, 6 drones, chasing 2 SCVs, and doing absolutely nothing useful. So yeah, this Rax obviously will have to lift up to let the Marine out, but absolutely worthwhile to keep that Marine safe. And now you still have the full force of this 2-Rax coming at Dark, only he's had much lower economy, and he's really gained nothing for this lower economy. The one thing he has done is he's kept the bunkers from coming down early, and that does buy time for Lings to be out when the bunker starts to build. So it makes defending against the bunker a little bit easier, but obviously, again, it comes at a huge cost, and usually you get more than that. Or usually, he could have done the same with like 2 or 3 drones at the end of the day. Like maybe with 2 or 3 drones, the Marine would have been able to fight them, but then you just micro them back, and you still delay the bunker from starting, and again, that's your major goal in this. As INnoVation kites away, and these Lings starting to take a lot of damage, he's just not quite getting the surround he needs. As if the Lings die, there's going to be drones that are in trouble as well, and this is INnoVation getting through for 3, 4 drone kills. Again, bunker is up here, so he's going to get into these bunkers. INnoVation, what a start, as he's going to get straight on damage onto this hatchery already. The Spine Crawler trying to come forward. It's going to be unburrowing and reburrowing, and well, just taking more damage. Just lose a Marine a little bit haphazard there. Thing is, I mean, now the Spine's out of range, yes, but these Marines are just going to keep hitting the hatch. 1 SCV to repair. I wouldn't even mind INnoVation bringing a second SCV across the map just to help the repairs, because this bunker's actually not fighting anything. So yeah, he should really start microing against the Spine Crawler, just like this. Come out, get a few shots, you don't actually take any damage. Also, if the Spine Crawler does fire on the Marines and misses, then you actually get in a position where you actually buy a bit more time for the Spine for the bunker to repair. Here we go. Spine's going to make the dive. You don't really want to target the Spine now. He targets the Queen, which had the transfusion, which is absolutely the right call. Now we've got a few more Marines showing up. The bunkers should go down, but the cost of this from Dark is huge. Transfusion on the Spine Crawler now, but 23 SCVs versus 14 drones. INnoVation is in a wild position. He didn't start a CC yet, so that's maybe the one thing that's a little bit late here overall, but a couple of Hellions on the way, the medevac on the way out. Just going to be seeing the rest of these Lings from Dark just coming out through the center and across to the far left side. I mean, try and do something, right? I mean, problem is, trying to do something here is going to feel pretty hopeless as well, I think, because at the end of the day, what do you have? I mean, you've got a medevac building, Hellions on the way. What are these Lings going to do? No Ling speed? There's already Hellions in the center of the map. It's actually going to cost Dark a lot for these Hellions, for these Lings to be out here, because the Hellions are going to find so many of the Lings. He's sacrificing some of the Lings to get the others away, and I mean, absolutely the right call, but you know, it's still expensive, still less than ideal. Couple Queens setting up. This Rax in the main base, floating around a little bit as well, and just seeing our drones still building up as our Queen on the way in the main base. INnoVation just going to go into Cloak and the Banshees. That A keeps him very safe from some sort of a roach all-in follow-up. It also keeps him able to keep the pressure up as well, going across the map. He'll be able to apply some very good pressure, I'd imagine, onto the Zerg base now. And obviously that's great. The medevac in the end just drops some Marines. INnoVation quite often likes to drop his Hellions, especially against somebody who doesn't have the Ling speed after the 2 racks. This time he decides to drop the Marines. Doesn't have too much success there. Actually pretty well cleaned up by Dark. It's been a very aggressive series. I don't think a single game has really gone without, you know, some form of early damage being done from one player or the other, or at least an attempt to deal early damage from one side or the other. Maybe a better way to look at it. Just gonna see our Hellions out the front here, sitting on the creep spread, and you do see our Cloak is continuing through for INnoVation. It's gonna be finished very shortly. So again, these couple of Banshees can get moving against this. Hellions make their way around this right-hand side. There's our third hatch dropping down. Our creep spread still pushing through the center. Stimpack starting from INnoVation, and it's a lot of Hellions. The Banshee. These few Queens from Dark already jumping in on this barracks, so doing pretty good against the Rax. Just going to clean that out, and again, plenty of units from INnoVation moving all the way up through to the top side of the map. These few Marines from INnoVation going to continue across as well. As I set this up, third hatchery of Dark going to be just about halfway done. Banshee putting some damage out onto the Queen, so Queen's taking some shots as Hellions and Marines coming in. A drone gets taken down, and just going to be seeing the Banshee continue to fight a Spine Crawler. So Spine taking some damage. Marines will go for this Overlord. So Overlord falls as again a couple of casters back at home. INnoVation just dealing some good damage, right? I mean, you've kept Dark to 2 bases here. What's Dark meant to do at this stage? You know, you're playing 2 bases. It's rough, man. Lair finishes up on the mains, which you see. I mean, the scan here clean out a lot of creep tumors. Gets one of the creep tumors already with the Hellions. Just, yeah, I mean, from INnoVation's point of view, don't lose anything. You know, he's already in a great spot, but don't lose anything, and then you just have a very powerful follow-up, and you can get a lot more done as well, as the Spire is on the way down. That's going to be Dark's way to try and get back in this game. The thing is, as soon as INnoVation finishes up 1-1 and combat shields, I kind of get a bit of a feeling that he's going to show up and he's going to just make a push that's going to make it very difficult for these mutas to do anything. So, yeah, not feeling super confident about that as our drones getting picked away at. Queen's showing up and the Banshee's getting turned away. And the rest of these drones just moving between the third base and the natural expansion. There's a 4th hatch from Dark on the bottom side here. As the Banshees will come in, they will start to pick their way through this hatchery, so just getting some damage dealt as our armory's on the way up from INnoVation too, and ready for 2-2. That's the first push already coming. I don't even think this really comes down to 2-2 as a decider. I hate to be so negative and so boring about it and so matter of fact, but I mean, you guys can see what I can see, right? You guys can see the supplies. Dark has barely got a 3rd hatchery online, and what's he doing? He's morphing some Banes that are going to be slow Banes, no Bane speed. And the Queens are in the wrong position as well, so the Queens are going to get chased on their own accord. The Lings at least will be able to get rid of the Siege Tank quick. The Hellions, if they can turn and get rid of the Banes, then that's obviously problematic, as Banes dying pretty quickly in all of this. INnoVation will load up and back away. I mean, I'd say a decent hold for Dark, but again, he also still lost 5 drones. feel like this is maybe more INnoVation just chasing... Yeah, I don't mind him chasing the queens, actually. I think it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's just a good... It's a good fight, however it turns out for INnoVation. Could he have done maybe something better? Maybe got the tank target fire the Banes. Maybe left a few units with the siege tank. Maybe Hellions morphed into Hellbats a bit sooner, but... Yeah, I mean, we're still playing 1-1 against 0-0. Mutas are about to pop, so maybe Doc can buy some time for himself. And if you can buy some time, then maybe these 4 bases get rolling and can get up to a work account that works as well. But again, these are a lot of ifs and a lot of hoping that INnoVation is really just not going to do anything, which is just crazy, right? It's just crazy. 2-2 attack and armor upgrades on the engineering bases. We do have INnoVation has these Marines moving out into the center. Coming around, comes straight in, picks off a changeling, and of course at this point he's got some more creep to clear out, but he's in general just got to push onto this right side base. Here come the mutas. How well prepared is INnoVation? He's got some Marines at home. He does have missile turrets in the main and the mineral lines. He's pretty well covered against this this entire setup, right? As the evolution chamber already falls, these few broodlings going down. Yeah, this is not pretty. This is not pretty as our mutas of Dark come back around up to the upper right. We do see the Marines are sitting out with the siege tanks here, and just the Queen of Dark getting pushed away. We will have the rest of these Marines and the Hellbats continue to fight up. Again, a few more Marines loading into medevacs, and we'll see some of these lava going down, etc. This army of INnoVation just coming down the bottom. Marines will get the evolution chamber, and again, 2-2 about to finish. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, it's hard to make this one exciting. We're watching Dark die for the last 6-7 minutes of the game, it feels like. Even it's, you know, from the 2 racks, it's been Dark in a very, very bad position. He's never really been able to do anything, and it has just been, you know, he's been in a position where he can not, you know, where he doesn't die, but that's pretty much all he's doing in this. As we do see the Marines are going to move up. Finland, that's going to be a prime target if he gets up there. There's INnoVation now in 2 different places looking to try and win this game 5 and take the lead. 3-2 in the series. Obviously would then be 2 maps away from victory as tanks still firing. Marine's going to sit on the siege tank here. The tank will go down. Rest of the army pushing forward. A lot of these Marines getting cleaned out on the bottom side, but then the top side army is just completely uncontested, and INnoVation will hence be able to just push on through, and that's going to be GG's. INnoVation does indeed take this to the map advantage, 3-2 over Dark. The top right-hand side taking the lead in the series once again. Our blue Terran player is INnoVation. And the bottom left, our red Zerg is Dark, as Inno goes SCV across the map. He's going to proxy racks on this map. I do feel this is a very large Zerg-friendly map because it is massive. There's loads of counter-attack pathways. The one good thing for the Terran is that it is very choke-heavy, so that somewhat makes up for some of that. Going to be a fun one to see how INnoVation and Dark handle it. If we get to a later stage, obviously right now, INnoVation going to go proxy racks across the map. Do you just want to very quickly say, if you are enjoying the video here today, do make sure to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. One of the ways you can support the tournaments that we put on, and hence that helps me put out more great content for you guys. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, there is YouTube memberships as well. That's $5 a month, same as subscribing on Twitch, and basically allows you to get access to replay packs and more for the future. So yeah, obviously just again helps to support the channel and helps to support the content we're putting out. But into the 2 racks then, scouted immediately by Dark. So this is a much faster scout. This is a wall off though, right, from INnoVation, so it's kind of tricky for the drones, because if the SCVs are on the right side of the wall, you can't actually slow down the SCVs at all. INnoVation will just take this with the Marines rallying to the other side. Again, Dark kind of pulls, what, like 4 drones here? So 4 drones pull. And this SCV does all the right dodging, basically, as comes in the other SCV going for the finish on the rack. He's just going to stick to it. He's going to finish it up, but it does cost him 1 SCV. Now, the other SCV very low. Best part of this, perhaps, right now is the fact that obviously that drone to the top left is going to die. This means no bunkers on the other side. He will bring 1 SCV across, but it's going to take a long time for this SCV to get here. Couple Couple of Marines already poking at the front. A spine crawler will build from Dark. Without the threat of a bunker, I don't think the Dark is really concerned at all, right? Like, he doesn't need to pull drones to push this back. He can take some damage on the hatch. I think this is going to be one of the better defenses from Dark we've seen in this series, as, well, he hasn't actually defended a T-Rex properly yet. He pulls the drones now. This is where the bunker is on the way up, so it is important to stop that bunker from getting up, and you need just a little bit of extra support for the drones. Looks like Dark says, I'm going to get the Queen out, and then I'll be able to deny the bunker anyway. He actually gets the SCV. There's another SCV here, though, and that's full of HP, and hopefully Dark hasn't misread this situation. He needs to try and stop this bunker coming up. He's actually targeting Marines, though, so he will let the bunker go up for a while. Lings will pull in. He gets it. SCV at the last second, so no bunker to break through, and that's obviously just way, way better, because now you don't have to worry about breaking through that 400 HP of bunker, which would have cost you so many more units. That's very clutch, because it's obviously very, very close to being finished there, so just about making it work out is Dark. Again, that could have become very tricky for him. Okay, well, this Reax is just going to be continue to float over. INnoVation looking to get his scout into the main as he starts up his command center back at home. And then we see the starport. And this is going to build as well. Factory on the reactor. This is what I mean, right? On Golden Wall, he actually started the CC very late. He went factory in the starport way faster. This game, he starts the CC much earlier on. So straight into this follow-up, straight into this expansion. Queens are going to continue to push the racks a little bit and just going to be forcing that away. It's going to land on one of the potential third base locations, so maybe Dark will take up here, but I don't think it's really too much of an issue. Only good part from INnoVation is if Dark takes this as the third base, then you've actually got this area here which you can unload siege tanks and etc. And then, of course, they can kind of fire up onto that third base area. So that's maybe the biggest issue of taking this left-hand side. So the third hatchery will start. The third hatch setting up, and the Overlord, then the Rax, sorry, the Overlord, the Terran Overlord, the Rax, flies back into the main to see what's going on. Rotron is building at the front from Dark, and he has a bit of gas. I don't think this is too aggressive or anything. He's building a lair as well. INnoVation's follow-up is going to be the Fusion Core and BCs, and I think this is going to become a mech map. You know, lots of bases you can take, a map which you're going to struggle to really... I really think you just struggle to play bio on this map, so I think this is really... You know, unlike Eternal, which is very, you know, large and macro favored, this one is just so large and so difficult to push into any bases as the Terran, so I think it just takes away a lot of your options in that regard, as we now see the couple of Hellions just pulling back. Lair is going to be done in a few moments from Dark, and the Evo Chamber's continuing into play. Obviously, the first BC already on the way up. Dark has not really seen much, apart from what happened early, so he doesn't know much about what's on the map. So as INnoVation sees these roaches, well, he's got a BC to defend. Dark goes Spire here, then he's actually in a pretty good spot. For the moment, he'll just go 1-1 on roach speed. Looks like he might even think about doing like a 1-1 roach burst, but that doesn't really work against mech because, well, you're playing mech. I mean, it can kind of work. It'd be much better, though. He's going to need a Spire, absolutely. You need the Corruptors to really deal with the BCs, and then you can make it like a Roach Ravager Corruptor burst. But because he doesn't know it's BC early, he doesn't go straight into the Spire, so the Corruptors are going to be late if you want to go for a bust like that. And obviously timing is everything, so I actually think this is pretty bad for Dark. I actually think he's getting into a bit of a rough spot, as this bunker's going to cancel. The BC is here, and INnoVation's just like, yeah, you know what? Don't even need the bunker. Got my BC to help me out. He's going to be... he'll chase this, as we do have the Hellions. We'll continue to chase as well. Problem is, if the Roaches turn to fight, the BC catches up. Maybe around now the Roaches could turn without the BC getting into range. He actually does just commit through for... Well, he gets one of the Hellions. Okay, not really worthwhile. Now the BC teleports across. Now Dark builds the Spire, and again, that's coming in pretty late here. Now, at least the Queens are in position, so the third base jump is not going to do too much damage. BC will continue to back away, and we do have our Roach speed finishing, but... Again, what can the Roaches do? If there's going to be multiple BCs, there's our extra factories as well. Again, I don't think any surprise that this is going to turn out to be mech here. instead of just like a 1 BC into a follow-up. I think absolutely not the map to play Bio on, so... Yeah, we've got the first BC turned away, but joined by a second BC shortly. I wonder if it just flies across the map or if it will teleport itself. I mean, all the queens are defensively on the third base before, but now there's nothing actually in the main base. One queen gets here, so that's where there would be potential for some damage. This BC has actually got its teleport available soon. I think he's just going to fly them across, and the teleports are both available. He actually scans the spire, so at this point you don't want to use the teleport aggressively, because as the Corruptor's finished, basically your teleport's on cooldown, and the Corruptors will be able to chase and kill the BC, and the last thing you want to happen is to lose the BC. Now, this should be Hellion Cyclone, because the Cyclone will help to protect the BCs from the Corruptors. Although, with the Roaches already on the ground, you probably want to be somewhat careful with the idea of just going into Cyclone. So you might want to go to 2 to 3 Siege Tanks first, to help you against what would be an initial kind of Roach force on the ground, and then kind of play from there. The BCs will both just teleport back and join up together. Obviously, some repairing is needed. He's actually going to go for Thors initially, which is also a pretty good ground and air answer, but obviously very immobile. So the Cyclones are great because they give you mobility on the map to stay active, and I think eventually that's going to be a necessity for INnoVation. The Thors are a little bit slower moving, of course, and they much more say, yes, this is very good defensively for now, but you're not going to get on the map and deal damage with that or put any pressure on, so... I was going to be seeing the Hellions, BCs, all of these gathering up in the front of the natural. Just going to be seeing our extra supply depots out in front of the third base. And just going to see our Roach chase down here is going to be picked away at. So Roach is going to go down. Mech weapons and plating continuing up as 6 Corruptors will continue through. Hive is the main base, and just going to be seeing the 5th hatchery already dropping down from Dark as well. Creep spread going to be pushing forward. I mean, the creep spread's just everywhere as well, of course. Fortunately, the mech doesn't worry so much about that. INnoVation is going to kind of just let the creep overrun a little bit. Obviously, you'll clean out some of it with the BCs, but what about up here, etc.? There was a phase, actually, around the IEM qualifiers where INnoVation went into some different kind of mech play. He loses a BC. That's obviously just a misjudgment as he tried to get the Yamatos off and teleport. He loses 1 BC, and that's a shame. That's a big catch already from Dark. There was a time where INnoVation was actually very happy just to play super passive mech. He basically let the Zerg take the map, and he would get to 4 bases, and his goal was to just slowly push to 5 base. And he basically just said, once I'm on 5 bases, you just can't handle me. Like, once I'm on 5 bases, it's just too much. And then you're actually in a lot of trouble as the Zerg player. And it worked for like a week or so, and then Rogue was like, well, what if I just like throw different sets of units at you again and again? And INnoVation's like, but then I guess I die. And that was the last time INnoVation ever did that. But this feels very similar to that right now. But of course, just because he needs the tanks to be safe, he's finally now going into Cyclone, so he will get some activity on the map eventually and some movement. Again, I think you need it, and especially on a large map, there is potential for some counterattacks. If Dark starts moving across, these Cyclones can show up, lock onto a base, and that's going to be where you get some of your base and hence economy denials against the Zerg during this game number 6. Ultra Cavern just finished, so Dark is going to go into that kind of, you know, break you down, sort of not going to let you build up forever style, right? If you go into the Ultra Cavern, you're really looking to build, attack, go again and again. But we've not really seen... Yeah, we've not really seen Dark move into anything else, so I guess it kind of is going to be how he approaches this. Obviously, then the idea is you really hope to keep INnoVation probably on just 4 bases, right? You know, attacking into 4 bases is tough, but 5 bases stretches the Terran out a bit. And then you can really hit positions very powerfully, and you can really overtake as Lings and Roaches are going to go streaming forward. Hellions and Cyclones will pull back. A lot of these Lings getting through as a couple of Cyclones go down. And just seeing INnoVation's army continue to set up on this right-hand side. Corruptors of Dark will be continuing down the left. Just seeing our Lings, Ravagers, and Roaches Back over the left-hand side as well. BCs will continue through. Going to get a few more creep teamers here, and this is where the Yamatos come down, and he will miss his teleport away again. Second time a BC dies. Dog really just got the right amount of corruptors up. So, yeah, second time a BC dies, and Dog just accepting the full-on late game. Already got the Ultra Cavern. Didn't make use of it, but hey, Red Spire's on the way. He's got a Nidus network on the way. Obviously, you get some Ultras up, and you get into Niduses, and then you're going to be counter-attacking the Terran's bases. And you start dealing a lot of production damage, and if you get rid of the production, the Terran can struggle to rebuild off fights like this. But actually, the Cyclones, you know, that's the thing, right? If you're building Cyclones, they're kind of meant to die. But that means you kind of need the production to rebuild them. This BC's teleport on cooldown, so it will go down. All BC is dead already. This makes the Corruptors a dead weight, but actually, Corruptors as a dead weight are actually a little bit scary, because now the Zerg won't be too afraid to send those forwards and actually try and course spray down bases, unless he morphs them into Broodlords. A couple of Thors already up. I don't think Broods are immediately the best idea, but they're definitely not the worst choice in the world. This is just Lings streaming into Blue Flame Hellions in the main base, so this is not too successful, and nothing else happening at the same time. For 6 SCVs, it's a lot of Lings that go down. He tries to morph in some Banes, and it also comes at the cost of building 2 Nidus networks, which again, at the moment, Doc's pretty rich, so that doesn't matter, but I don't think these are the sort of trades you can kind of pull out again and again and again, because you know, eventually then you just throwing away too much mineral and gas income to really achieve nothing. So good cleanup. All these Niduses will go down. Dark is, well, going forwards here. Again, just has very good creep spread pretty much halfway through the map in every location. Weakest point probably is down on this bottom side. But INnoVation's going to try and push through now. Again, INnoVation. The problem is INnoVation needs to start denying some bases somewhere along the way, else he's in some trouble as the Cyclones get a lock on. Corruptor's taking damage. Banes trying to move through, but the Hellbats give pretty good coverage to block that. Bane's going to roll through already. Cyclones locking in, and Thor's pulling back as well. Another Bane or two going down. Roach is getting straight on top of these Thors. So Thors take a lot of damage as the Cyclones of INnoVation pull back all the way to the right side. Couple of extra libs, 5 extra Cyclones, all of that building as we do see 5 more Broods in the bottom right, and our Cyclones are just going to be locking on here. Lings taking damage, Hellions morphing into Hellbats. And we do just see the Spinecrawler going to go down, just going to see this Hatchery is going to go down, and that is going to be that, as we do see the extra Banes continue to roll into this. A couple of Cyclones getting picked off, and just going to see all of these Cyclones will go down indeed. So a lot of Cyclones falling here. Broodlords already cleaning up a whole bunch of the Cyclones in the front. As you see Roaches, Ravages. They're going to continue forward, and INnoVation is going to have to keep on running. These trade outs, though, I mean, Dark's bank is being pulled away out. You can see INnoVation is trading just about a little bit better off. And actually, he's on, I know he just had a hatch kill and so on, but he's actually on 87, 90 SCVs against 80 drones. So he's in a position where he has the base count, because he's just double expanded top side and right side to 6 bases. So he gets rid of these Broods, and he's actually in a position to really, again, trade and trade and trade, which, I mean, is what Battle Mech is designed to do, so it makes sense that he's able to do it. And the Ling's going to run in over here. SCVs will start us around and potentially repair the planetary, but he stopped repairing for a moment. Do enough units get here to deal with this? I think they do. Cyclones, a couple Hellions on the way across. It's getting very close. He needs to not fight this Roach. He needs the Hellions to get down there and fight more of the Lings already. 17 SCVs went down. I think if the Hellions kind of run past the Roach or two that were there, and this was less of a, it's not really an A move, right? But like, if he does control those Hellions past, maybe he saves it. Maybe INnoVation doesn't care as long as he's got the bottom right base running. But now he's got units in the main, including an Ultra or two, which are going to be a frustration to deal with. And we also see Dark trying to go into a Lurker den. So eventually getting into Lurkers here. Just trying to think what the Lurkers might be able to really achieve. I mean, he can definitely hold down certain positions, or maybe slow INnoVation down from running around the map in general. Here comes another round of Ultras, Roaches, pushing through the Cyclones with a good set of lock-ons again. And I mean, that's the issue with the Ultras, right? As soon as Cyclones lock onto them, they're probably just going to go down. And they can be kited as well. So it's a very expensive unit to just try and harass and to trade out with. You see resources lost, still about 1,000 difference here. It's important to keep track of that, because the moment that starts going more one side than the other is the moment that this game starts to slip from one player's control to the other player's control pretty heavily, because this is so tense because it is even, and they're both mining a lot, and they're both mining, at one point INnoVation mines more, then Dark is mining a bit more. And the Cyclones show up, locking on. The Ultralisk is going to go down. Widow Mines are burrowing. Things and Roach is trying to get back into this Nidus network as the Cyclones are there. They will clean up this Nidus. It will go down. On the left-hand side, we have another Nidus building. It's going to be finished up in this top side in a moment or two. Adaptive Talons is halfway through. Adaptive Talons halfway through is just going to be seeing the rest of the Cyclones all building as well. Going to be seeing a lot of this from INnoVation. Down the right side, about to have a base to relocate up here and to re-expand. Dark's still taking bases, right? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going up to base number 7. Against 5 base, about to be against 6 base. I know as he takes the top. Our lurkers are going to be on the map, and that's going to be the next question, right? Are these lurkers really going to be that effective? Is Widow Mines help against some of these initial lings? And the Cyclones just aren't good against Zerglings, right? The lock-ons aren't that valuable against lings. You know, the lings are actually designed to tank against the Cyclones. The lurkers are the interesting one, because if you get the lock-on to lurkers with the Cyclones, then great, but if they move around, they don't see the lurkers, and suddenly they're on top of the lurkers, boom, then you're in a lot of trouble. Lings going in after these SCVs, Hellions and Cyclones picking off. The rest of these lings coming around, and Hellions are very quick to get there and push those lings away. Magic on the top side will be picked off. As we do have Seismic Spines about to finish up all of these Cyclones to the top left. We're going to find the lurkers unburrowed. There's the initial lock-ons, and then you just trade out brilliantly. That armored unit to the Macfield gets that bonus damage. That's what, like 4 lurkers down for nothing at all there from INnoVation. I mean, obviously he catches them completely on their own, but the good thing as well, though, is now you know about the lurkers, right? Because if you don't know about the lurkers, you're in a lot more trouble, because then you don't know about them for that first siege, potentially, and that's where the main portion of damage could really come from. And the rest of this out down to the bottom side. Widow Mines going off. A couple of these lings getting cleaned out. Lings and Banes will gather up on this bottom side as well. Cyclones continuing to lock on. As these Banes trying to move through. A couple of blinding clouds here will have a bit of an impact, but actually it's a pretty big win overall here from INnoVation. He loses. Again, he's happy to trade out this sort of army. I think he's very happy with how that went. Now, you can see the resources loss tab is opening up, so a bit more control going into this game from INnoVation. A couple of lurkers to deal with, but I also love the fact he's getting Liberators out, because Liberators are a really good answer to Hydras and Lurkers. Because the Hydras against ranged Liberators and +2 ship weapons are going to struggle to get in range without just getting obliterated. The Lurkers don't do anything against the Liberators, so yeah, I really like what INnoVation is getting to with the army composition now. Especially in a game where he's actually cleaned out all the Corruptors and so on, and you know, do you really want to start rebuilding Corruptors against these Liberators? Well, even if you want to as Dark, you're actually a little bit too poor to. Down 20 supply, going to lose this left-hand side base, and INnoVation puts Dark back to 6 bases. 6 bases, which is what INnoVation has, plus 1 more. So yeah, INnoVation continuing mining great. 96 workers from Inno, and again, back into this income. It's been up and down on the income graph, but it actually has been Inno getting the higher peaks in all of this. And that's obviously a big part of it, plus the more efficient trades as well. And eventually, Dark has started to break down here. Dark now supply blocked even, so he's actually unable to really rebuild much. These Liberators are caught on their own, and obviously as they unsiege against the Liberators, the Cyclones come through, they get some lock-ons. Didn't back away soon enough there, unfortunately, though. Those lurker shots actually did pretty well. He has to build Corruptors because there's not really much other choice to get rid of these Libs in some of these positions. That way he abducts them into Hydras, but that's a very slow process because then you also need your Vipers and your Hydras over in those positions. These Liberators obviously on their own are not going to do well against the Hydras, but a few more Libs at the same time and obviously a bit of support on the ground. And those Hydras are just not the answer to the Liberators there. Right now you've got Liberators kind of running around all over the place. Gonna mass siege up this base, force the drones away. Obviously could abduct a little bit, but what are you gonna abduct them into? You're just abducting them out of siege mode, and INnoVation controlling the game with Liberators, it feels like. He's gonna get down to the bottom side. These 2 Libs will be able to siege as well. He's just continuing to deny mining, and at this point it's the game just gonna be, look at the income graph. Yeah, INnoVation, just because he's stopping the mining from happening, which is obviously at this stage huge. He's on 99 SCVs. 99 SCVs. Some would even write a song about that, as we do have our hatchery locked onto, and it's going to go down again. Another great denial. This top left side and this kind of clear path with no creep on it has just allowed INnoVation multiple times this game now to come across and really just get there to fight it. Dark makes a dive in on the bottom right-hand side. The lurkers get burrowed up. The planetary fortress being repaired is not enough, so it's a base 4 base this time at least. And we'll have some of those abducts to get the liberators into Hydras, so INnoVation drops a few SCVs and he will drop a little bit of supply in general. Maybe giving Dark an opportunity for the first time in what feels like forever. Liberator count is actually way down as well and not really doing much, as you're not going to be seeing the rest of the Cyclones coming across. The Lurkers are very annoying in these positions when they already get sieged up or burrowed up, and then that's when the Cyclones need to come and lock on. And obviously when it's defensive, right, you know, if it's offensive, you know, sorry, the other way around, when it's aggressively placed Lurkers, it's so difficult because defensively placed Lurkers, you don't have to fight into them, only if you see the chance. Aggressively placed Lurkers really kind of force the situation a lot more often, but that's a nice catch. There's going to be 2 dead Vipers, and again, Dark is not in a position to be rebuilding tech units like that. That's another dead Viper. He turns around, but there's really nothing with it. The Hydras and Lings will clean up, but again, the loss of the Vipers is just huge, and Dark is just not rebuilding any of his losses at the moment. Lurkers will unburrow back away to the side. The rest of INnoVation's army pulls back. INnoVation even taking another new base out on this side. This is one which Dark hasn't even really had much time on at all. Don't even think he's tried to take a base here this game. Maybe now as the drone gets over there, but this is all very rough. I mean, these Vikings are showing up to get rid of the Vipers more easily. I mean, these Hydras are kind of on their own. Where are the other reinforcements? They're just not around. Some Lings are going to come streaming across. I mean, initially these Lings are going to do okay because it's mostly Cyclones, but then some extra Hellions get here, and, you know, that in itself is an issue. And right now, it's actually just Ling Hydra, and Ling Hydra is not going to do well against Blue Flame Hellions. There are the few Lurkers that were across the map. They're going to have to come back to defend. There goes our 1 of 2 Vipers that remain on the map as well. He's going to scan. He'll just take the damage from the couple of Lurkers to kill them off. Absolutely worthwhile, absolutely affordable. I don't actually think Dark cleans out this INnoVation army. INnoVation keeps on pushing through. The Lings surrounded nothing, and INnoVation will take it to a match point opportunity as he goes up 4-2 against Dark in this best of 9. Great mech play. Active all over the map. Top right-hand side, his first opportunity at match point. The blue Terran is INnoVation. And the bottom left, our red Zerg is Dark. You know what, guys? We've had our nice long game, but it was mech versus Dark. I want to see a nice long bio versus Dark game. So give it to me, INnoVation. Come on. I want, you know what I want. Give me that bio. Give me a game that goes a long way. I mean, maybe I should be asking Dark, because Dark is the one who's been very aggressive in a lot of these games with the Roach openers and the Roach attacks that have consistently put him into some tougher positions, quite frankly. People will drop down there. Rax is going to be building from INnoVation. Going to continue through and just going to be seeing the Rax on the way out, then just going to see this Overlord of Dark will be on its way up through the middle of the map. Dark is back to a hatchery first again. So obviously when hatch first last time defended the 2 racks. It was the first time he really defended the 2 racks as well, so nice for him to catch that. Of course, it wasn't a pretty large map. Not really feel, you know, I mean, I know obviously we see INnoVation isn't 2 racks in here, but I feel like INnoVation just likes the 2 racks on some of those maps he maybe feels are, you know, a little bit more Zerg favored, such as Isonchrome because of the size, or sometimes Eternal. He doesn't like playing longer games there. Which is surprising because a lot of Terrans really do like Eternal for the longer bio game against Zerg. I know a lot of Zergs hate playing the Terrans on that map as well, so you see the SCV will make its way down to the bottom side of the map. So off and away to scout, and of course INnoVation just checking for that pool first opener, trying to see where Dark is at in the early stages. Supply depot from INnoVation already going to build up here, and just seeing our command center coming in on the natural expansion. Cool, so the command center on the natural. And a couple of queens already building up from Dark in the main, one on the natural. So again, that going as we do have the Overlord going to fly overhead into the natural as well. It's just doing that as we see the factory on the way. Yeah, very standard slow going game at the moment. Compared to a lot of like the aggressive setups we've had, especially, right? We've had what, like 3 2-racks? I think we've had 3 roach openers. Maybe not quite like this fast a roach opener, but yeah, this is setting up to maybe be a bit of a more standard macro game. We'll see if INnoVation wants to do something aggressive himself. He's not been afraid to show us some potential hellbats, right? You know, one game he flew the medevac into the, queens, and that wasn't pretty, but in the next game he actually went into the... He actually ended up against a bit of a timing from Dark, and then he had the hellbats to help him with it. So I think there's actually some good opportunity here to realistically end up on a maybe INnoVation guy aggressive base is what I'm saying. He is on 1 gas though, and he is going to take a 3cc. So my theories are going to dissolve. But I don't think it's a map where you can't, you're just not going to get aggressive at all necessarily all the time. I don't think it's a map where you have to 3cc. It's just saying, like, as INnoVation, he does have some options there, basically. As we do have the Marine. Well, this Marine's a little bit stuck. Nope, racks. Don't let him get back to the high ground. This is nice, though, right? Dark forced the racks back over here, and basically that means the racks is out of position a little bit longer. And it's not there back in time to really build a tech lab or anything for the starport. Let's see if he is going to go tech lab on the starport for a Banshee or anything. He will go tech lab. There's a lair already on the way up from Dark in the main base as well, so getting this lair up and running. There's our couple queens back over the right side. So faster lair, obviously this typically nowadays comes up with a faster baneling nest as well, and then you'd usually see a few you get the lair, you get the bane nest, you get into bane speed and the spire. Creep Sped just pushing forwards from Dark, so again into the front of this, and we do see the stim pack already on the way from INnoVation. Cloak on the tech lab as well. Banshee is on the way out. A lot of Hellions from INnoVation just rallying together, joining up at the front. Again, with the cloak about halfway done and stim pack already on the way out, really looking into just this harassment heavy, straight to bio style. I mean, this is the sort of style where if you can get a few kills with these Banshees, the follow-up push is so difficult to defend, right? Like, if you lose, like, 10-ish drones, INnoVation's follow-up attack is going to be really, really scary. So your defense here from Dark has to be absolutely on point. Else you might run into some trouble as this Banshee makes its way down to the bottom side. Plenty of Hellions coming through. Going to clean out the creep tumor. Going to go to the left side. Maybe get some creep tumors over here as well. Just pushing at the front. The queens are there to turn the Hellions back around. Down at the bottom side, a couple of lingers are going to pop. More queens are here, and again, just the Hellions going to get chased away. With a third CC now down and in position. Now 1-1 upgrades coming up. Our stim pack about to be done. The racks are going to be finishing shortly as the factory lifts off, goes to the tech lab. Racks will finish from INnoVation, and we'll be able to lift onto the reactor as well, and more racks just continue to build. So all of that setting up, here comes our Spire. So the Banshees are really on a bit of a timer in terms of what they can do. There's a lot of Overlords just then in production from Dark. So yeah, these two Banshees out to the left-hand side, and of course you look at this and you kind of say, okay, well, this is a pretty well set up defense, and it depends where the Mutalisks go, right? If the Mutalisks fly across the map and then the Banshees arrive, Banshees could still get something done. Maybe the Mutalisks turn around and deal with the Banshees could be a big deal. INnoVation not going overly aggressive with the Hellions, though, making sure to keep those alive. Definitely knows that they can be important in a fight, but also important to keeping the third base mineral line alive if he wants to push out. And then maybe there's some run-by potential. That's obviously what those Hellions are really good at dealing with. Dark just instantly pulls these drones away. He knows there's just nothing here to deal with this. These drones are just sat AFK in the main. Well, that's just 6 workers already dying. Now, there's a few SCVs across the map going down. It's just like Ling chasing down SCVs on this wall. Wow, so one Zerglin just did as much as 2 Cloak Banshees. Amazing. Or nearly as much as, I feel like 4 SCVs versus 6 drones when you compare the cost of the 2 units doing the damage is pretty serious. Here come the Mutas into the natural expansion. INnoVation not prepared with missile turrets just yet. So This is going to be Dark flying all the way through into the main base, and there's going to be a lot more workers going down. The Banshees make another turn again. They probably realize their life's on the line. Better to do damage now when the mutas are preoccupied elsewhere than to kind of, you know, hang around and wait for the mutas to already be heading home. They are going to dive in here, and in fairness, there's actually no Spore Crawlers. They actually get a really good opportunity and really making up for some of the SCV losses that INnoVation has taken over the last few moments. Another nice position, and this is more drones going down. Hey, this is pretty serious. I know that INnoVation obviously just lost some SCVs of his own, but that's a lot of drone damage. Problem is now, if you're rebuilding those drones like you probably need to, INnoVation's already coming across the map with 1-1 upgrades, so you've got to focus on building units. And this is great, because now INnoVation's actually just going to be on equal workers as it comes up to the high ground. Mutas are going to launch another counterattack, but they decide to think twice about it. Banes do have Bane speed, but the Banes aren't actually ready yet, so there's going to be siege tanks to maybe deny a few right away. Remember, these Hellions come over into Hellbats, and that's exactly what they do to try and help this fight. The Banes don't do enough, and INnoVation is just going to win this game with this push and the series. Mutas are going down as well. It's very one-sided in the end, this final fight. But INnoVation will take it down 5-2 in the final map. Oh, well, and there's a final scoreline. In the final map, just an unstoppable force just whacking into Dog's base, and Dog just, I mean, it felt like he had a good amount of Banes. He didn't have that many actually denied, but they just rolled into nothing. INnoVation's pre-split the tanks that killed the Banes when they did come in, and Dog just doesn't do enough with that there, and that's GG's. INnoVation wins out this show match. Thank you, everyone. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe comment down below if you did enjoy or you want to say anything about it. Do read the comments and reply to you guys all the time. So let me know what you thought about it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.